Welcome back once again to Uncanny Contemplation, where we look at views of different worlds, different things that may be, different things that hopefully won't be, and consider them thoughtfully through the medium of gaming and arting. That's the verb, arting. I'm once again here with the Hobo King, the art doer, Armadox.
Oh.
Yeah. And I'm Poet. I'm gonna hit some buttons. Today we're once again going back into Omen Exitio Plague. Let's see, what happened last time? Our main character, I think his name's Beef Hardcastle. I can't remember what his name is. What's his name?
Rex Huntington.
I think that's basically correct. Yeah. It's something Huntington. I'm pretty sure that's right. Anyway, we got real sad about our wife dying. So we joined a colonial army, colonizer army, as you do.
As you do in the 1920s.
Yeah, you're like, well, I'm sad. Better go oppress some native peoples. And we're trying to figure out a plague that has boosted out. We built our character mostly medicine and talking, so that's cool. We're very doctory. We didn't have sex with the lady who
very true.
who ghosted herself to look like her wife. We decided that was maybe a little weird. And
a decision that I still feel was warranted.
Oh, right, and we chased a guy over a bunch of boats and fell in the water. I remember that. That was fun.
Hurt a fisherman bad enough that he lost teeth.
Oh, right, yeah, we did. We did do that too. So, we're basically the hero. Things are going great. We're going good. Yeah, so...
Oh, wait, we forgot the best part. We overthrew what is most likely a child sultan because they were anti-British.
Oh, right, yeah, we did help to do that, yeah. Although, if I remember correctly, the name of the next chapter maybe indicated he wasn't as overthrown as possible as we thought, but let's see. Let's get into the game. And get into some art. Any idea what you're going to draw today?
I think I will, this time, try to follow more along the lines of, like, the story elements. So we'll see how that comes out in what is produced, because this guy has had a unique 48 hours.
Yeah, well, I mean, he traveled all along the coastline there. That was at least 3 or 4 days, so like it's been a week, I think. But see, yeah, the Rebel King, that's what I was talking about. Let's take a look at our character sheet here. Jake Huntington, you were so close.
Oh, so close.
Oh, our picture of our wife has been replaced by the picture of our 2 friends in our unit. Drunk child and useful cookman. Again, maybe I should remember their names. I'm sure they're in the notes. Hold on.
You mean their name isn't drunk child and useful cookman?
Apparently not. Ryan Vespucci and Ed O'Bannon. There they are. Yeah, you see we've got medicine, observation, speechcraft, and the world's smallest point in fighting here. We're slightly hurt because we totally failed to beat up a zombie man, if I remember correctly.
Oh, yes, we're not.
Yeah.
We are not a pulp adventure Cthulhu hero. That's obvious.
I mean, I think we are. We just haven't attempted to put points in, like, dodging and fighting. Alright, the Rebel King. After having finished searching these 3 villages, you continue your reconnaissance mission towards the rebel camp, which you had noticed on the map at the beginning of the mission. Smith seems worried that disease might have reached the men from this village, who are, in theory, friends and allies. Yeah, right, Smith. He's our commanding officer. He has a small child, which is a great thing to bring to a war zone, if I remember correctly.
Yes, absolutely.
Let's
you know, daycare back then was super expensive.
Was it? Like, I feel like if you're a captain in the army, you're like a nobleman of leisure, so you could hire like a fleet of nurses and never have to actually parent.
The fact that he didn't immediately send his child to like military school as an infant says a lot about his fathering abilities.
You know what? That's a good point. Yeah. Let's see. I think the child is in our notes too. Let's see his name. Where's this child? There he is, Scott. A 6-year-old child. Yes. He looks emotional and affectionate. All right. At the entrance to the village, you find armed men waiting for you. They have European weapons. Smith gestures to his men to remain calm, while one of the villagers heads towards you and speaks. He is obviously tall and strong, despite his garments hiding his muscles. God, people always hiding their muscles under garments, I swear. Oh man, your Jake Huntington looks sinister. Oh man, he's not taking any shit.
Oh, he has a speechcraft. He's practically a politician.
That's fair. He has a hostile and suspicious look, which, when he talks, his face, which is disfigured and scarred, barely moves. My name is Mikwawa. I fight against the German army for the liberation of my people. If you come in peace, you are welcome in this village. If you come to make trouble, you will not see the sunrise tomorrow. I am Smith, captain of this regiment, and we have no hostile intentions. We'd like to discuss a group of enemies which have... Mikwawa moves quickly. An arm comes out from his garment, stretching out his hand in front of him, upright and steady, interrupting the captain's words. Good, you come in. You, wait here. Mikwawa points at you, Smith and Betsarai. I remember not being able to pronounce that last name too. And gestures for you to go beyond the entrance to the village. You approach the captain and ask for explanations while you start walking behind the rebel chief. The rebels are on our side. They often spill over into British territory to escape the chase of our common enemy, the Germans. They are a good ally in this war. Mikwawa orders some of his men to watch the other members of your unit. He has an iron and authoritative voice, but unlike Smith, he doesn't need to raise it to be heard. He moves his hands. The gesturing of his body seems to hypnotize anyone he faces, including inducing them to bend to his will. Ooh. The British government supports you, Mikwawa. You don't need these precautions. We are on your side. Mikwawa's mouth twists and he starts to talk. Mikwawa is on his side only. I trust no one. I'll protect my people at all costs, British or German. If you are my guests, you follow my rules. Dang. Alright, we've now officially met this guy and gained some experience points. Mikwawa looks like a rugged and strong man. While he's the chief of a village protected by the British Army, he doesn't seem to like any foreigner, foe, or friend alike.
Well, you know, that seems like that's good precaution, actually.
Yeah, that's the way to go. Don't trust anybody. Smith remains silent for a few instants. Then he turns to you and Betsarai, giving a knowing glance. The message is very clear. Captain nods to you and he turns back to Mikwawa. What do you know about the disease? Mikwawa glares back at you. His eyes scrutinize you, trying to read your intentions. He switches from you to Betsarai to Smith, where his eyes stop. Their huge personalities seem to clash for a handful of tense, silent seconds, fighting a battle without winners or losers. Both men refuse to stop staring at each other. Mikwawa, I have heard stories. Stories of people who cry blood, people who suffer. No sick man has entered my village. They die before. Should we insist on more information or just observe the men?
I think if we don't insist, they're not going to tell us anything. So yeah, let's get up and personal into this whole thing.
Okay. Have any of your men ever gotten sick? Mikwawa directs his black eyes at you, and his face is implacable. The expression of a great strategist. His face gives absolutely nothing away. My men don't get sick, soldier. Screams burst through the... Yeah, 100% accurate, yeah. Screams burst through the village gates. Your stomach lurches, turning upside down and pushing against your lungs. Your heart starts beating rapidly, while you can't help thinking that this was a trap all along. Were you wrong to trust these men? You run towards the screams, followed by Smith and Betsarai. Some rebels are carrying an injured man to a clearing where they put him down gently. You take a breath. Your comrades are safe and sound. Then you get to work, bending down to tend to the injured man. You ask for light. You need to see the condition of his wounds. The injured rebel is screaming in agony. He has a nasty wound on his stomach, and it seems painful. Probably caused by a bayonet piercing his flesh, barely missing his organs. Maybe you can try to save him. So, we could either medicate him, or it says you stand back and leave the man to his destiny. It would be the worst doctor ever. Just be like, yeah, I mean, I could triage, but
We didn't put points in medical to not use it, I guess.
That's true.
But, not one of ours.
It's true, not one of ours. But, it's a way to gain the trust of the rebels. Success! You barge to the men and pull out your medical kit. You clean the wound to prevent infection and quickly suture it carefully. That's all you can do at the moment. There's a little picture of suturing going on. Ooh. Get 2 experience points for suturing. He must be taken care of, but he'll live. He grabs frantically at your sleeve. From the pained expression on his face, it seems he wants to tell you something. You move in closer. He's like, yes, what is it? I did sew up your stomach, yes. Hello. I didn't put anything in there, I promise. The injured man says, not the well, I beg you. Don't put me in the well, no. No well, no. You don't understand what the man means. You'd like to ask him directly, but you suddenly realize how messy the situation is getting. Mikwawa is shouting at his men, who head inside the huts to gather weapons. You approach Betsarai to ask him for clarifications. Germans, come! I have no idea what Germans want from this village, but you don't like it at all. You are still reflecting on links between Mikwawa's camp and the German needs when you think of the injured rebel. If a battle is going to happen, you need to carry him to a safe place. You remember his face well. He seemed terrified. You remember he mentioned a well. What did he mean? You see Betsarai from afar, and he gestures for you to follow. You instinctively move closer, and for a moment, the man loses himself, staring at you with a weird, almost stupefied smile. Then he blinks and pulls himself together, pointing at something, a well in the middle of the village. How did you not notice it before? The rebels are busy arranging village defense. It's clear they weren't expecting such a sudden invasion, and they're running in all directions, bringing equipment and weapons, yelling in their language. Smith walks away to warn the rest of the troop to get ready if reinforcement is needed. No one notices you, so you decide it's the right moment to get closer to the well and try to figure out what it hides. What? Why? Okay. We can look into the well. We can use our observation skill to try to find clues about what the well holds while hiding. Or we can drop a stone into the well to figure out how deep it is.
I think we should look into the well, because obviously we're making dumb decisions already. Let's go for broke.
Okay. We have enough experience to either boost our observation to 3 or our speechcraft to 3 if we want.
Speechcraft.
All right. We'll boost our talking. There we go. And we'll look into the well. You lean forward and try to look inside the well. You can see the rough bricks it's made of from no more than a meter. But it's too dark to see anything else. You lean out further to get a better look, but you see out of the corner of your eye that some people are coming, probably rebels. You hide. 2 men are approaching, carrying something. A corpse wrapped in a blanket. You are forced to look away, flattening yourself against the rock of the well and sitting there. You hold your breath when 2 men's shadows are projected beyond your position, listening. You hear the heavy weight swaying and the thud of a body being thrown in the well. The sound of cracking bones makes you shiver. You think about Mikwawa's words. No sick man has entered my village. They die before. You wait to hear if there are any more steps, ensuring that the men are leaving. Then you come out of your hiding place and go examine the well more thoroughly. That little abyss in the ground hides more than mere mud. Alright, we can use our non-existent agility stat, of which we have put 0 points in, to climb down into the well, or we could just say, I hate this well, and leave.
I feel if we climb down, the story ends. Let's probably bail.
Yeah, considering we didn't put any points in agility, I think that's probably the right way. I failed an achievement, it says. Okay. You did not discover the secret hidden in the depths of the well. That's right, I didn't. Anything there is at the bottom of that well, and it isn't worth the risk of lowering yourself into it. Yes, thank you, game. That's true. No matter what chivos you throw at me. You also want to avoid getting caught doing someone else's job, especially if the matter involves Mikwawa. You may put the troop in danger. You decide to leave and return to your squadron. Smith is gathering his men with his usual military frown. As he sees you arrive, the captain immediately notices your worried face. What you have just seen has disturbed you greatly, and you're unable to hide it from your superior. Okay, so I'm not going to say that this is, like, normal to throw bodies into a well, but also this is war, and you have to put the bodies somewhere. I can think of worse places to put them than a unused well.
I mean, yes, by their time period, but also the water from one well probably touches the water from all of the other wells.
You know, that's a good point too. The aquifers might be touching each other. That's a good point. Yeah. I'm just saying it doesn't seem. It doesn't seem very horrifying, is what I'm saying. I feel like Jake Huntington is shockingly horrified about nothing here. Maybe he has a fear of wells. I don't know.
We never figured out what killed his wife.
That's true.
Maybe it was a well.
It's true. Maybe it was a well. Huntington, is something wrong? You raise your eyes to Smith, uncertain how to answer his question. You know well. Oh, you know well. You know well that behind those icy, severe eyes, he has a genuine concern for your well-being. In the end, you decide to be honest and tell him about your doubts. We need to be careful, Captain. I am not sure Mikwawa is telling us the whole truth. I heard some men throwing something into the well. I don't know what it was, but I have a bad feeling about it. I think you're right, Huntington. We've picked a terrible ally, and I can't let this fanatic threaten me or my men.
We're gonna just shoot him.
Smith's expression shows aversion and disgust towards the rebel chief, a tyrannical ruler able to subjugate his entire tribe with terror. After a slight hesitation, Captain seems to come back to his senses, regaining his military bearing, and he gives an order to the men. Ready your weapons! The Germans are coming! All of Mikwawa's men are gathered in the village square. You join them, getting into formation alongside them to organize the village's defenses. The Germans are coming. You are seized by doubt. Why did Mikwawa need to lie about the disease? What's the real source of secrecy and lack of cooperation? While you're deep in thought, you see Captain Smith moving towards the rebel chief, ready to confront him. The two men look intently at each other for a short while, their stares meeting, as if trying to defeat one another even before the two men start talking. It's trench warfare, a war of attrition, which neither of the adversaries seems to want to lose. Finally, when it's clear to both men that their rival won't lower their eyes, Smith is the one who starts talking. I don't like it when an ally of mine hides information from me. If we survive, you'll have much to discuss. What happens in my village is of no business to you. McWall's words make Smith twitch, and he becomes visibly enraged. As for the rebel chief, McWawa is still staring straight back at your captain. The two men seem ready to come to blows at any moment. Smith's voice is getting louder and louder, and McWawa's composure is starting to waver under the military man's verbal assault. The most deadly. You fear you are wrong in sharing your doubts with Smith in such a delicate moment. You must try to do something to prevent the situation from getting worse. Okay, the something we can do to prevent the situation getting worse is absolutely nothing. Or we can use our speechcraft to try to convince Smith to back down, or speechcraft to try to convince McWawa to back down.
I think that we should go for broke. We put all the points in the speechcraft. Let's mess with the other guy instead.
So you think we should talk to McWawa, the rebel king?
The guy that absolutely will throw us in a well if we mess this up?
Yeah. Okay. Success. McWawa, we're here to help you, not to cause trouble. And not just with the Germans either. We've got a battle to fight. We're outnumbered, and our only chance is to face what's coming while trusting each other as much as we can. 4 experience points. McWawa listens in silence. His eyes are piercing. He never seems to blink, but it looks as if he trusts you. Your words reassure him. Captain Smith, too, appears convinced by your words. He looks at you for a couple seconds, then he puts his hand on your shoulder, patting it affectionately. Pat, pat, pat. A gunshot, seemingly from nowhere, interrupts the heated discussion. One of McWawa's men drops to the ground like a sack of potatoes, without a word or even a whimper. He dies suddenly, leaving only a dry thud and a small cloud of dust.
We've been doing this out in the open.
Yeah, apparently. Just the two leaders, just right there, ready to be shot.
Quick end. Victory to the German forces, though. Good on them.
Yeah. The shot comes from afar and is immediately followed by more. You're under attack. The Germans are here. The village is plunged into chaos, and you find yourself lost, pushing around blindly, not really knowing what to do. Just a minute ago, you were trying to conciliate Smith and Macawa in their altercation. Now you have no idea where to go. With an effort, you manage to focus, look around, and get a general idea of the situation, and prepare to face the enemies. Again, you're the medic. You should have been setting up like a triage station during this entire situation.
Remember though, we are only the medic because they make us be the medic. We don't even want to be here.
That's true. We refuse to doctor anymore. You glance around at those around you. Right now, there are no more disagreements, quarrels, or changes of attitude. Gone are the healthy men, the disease, the threats, and everything you have lived before the enemy arrived. Screams and gunfire are the only sounds which can be heard inside the village. You and the rebels are united in a single desperate mission. Survival. The Germans advance, and more start emerging ghost-like from the dense jungle. Where you are crouched is overly exposed to the enemy, so when you notice O'Bannon running towards a nearby hut, you opt to follow him. Unfortunately, the cover fire provided by your companions doesn't seem to be enough to protect you from the German guns, so much so that you are forced to change your trajectory and end up in another home. I really don't know about trusting O'Bannon's leadership or lead here, but okay.
Isn't that the child?
That's the 16-year-old drunk Irishman.
Yeah.
You look out into the darkness of the night, but you don't see anything. You aim your weapon out into the darkness. Outside, the raging sounds of fighting carries on, shots and screams swirling together in the furnace of battle. Then, a different sound, clear and very close behind you. You spin around to see the light reflecting off a blade of a knife as it slashes the air right about the height of your neck. Okay, we can dodge, or we can neutralize. We can use agility, our worst stat, or fighting, our second worst stat.
So what I'm hearing is we're about to get definitely stabbed.
Yeah, we're about to get stabbed. I guess we'll try to parry the hit and neutralize the enemy, so we have slightly better chance of that. Nope, we failed. You try to disarm your enemy, grabbing his wrist at the right moment, but you miscalculate, and the blade of the knife injures your hand. Wow, that's terrible for a doctor. Damn. We done
or we become Stephen Strange.
Yeah, we done screwed up. Yeah, that's probably where this is going. We're probably going to go join a mystic order and become a magician, right? The pain distracts you just enough for your enemy to punch you square in the face. You don't even see it coming. You go down and suddenly the German is blocking your every movement, ready to finish you with his blade. You close your eyes. You've been injured. Okay. We've gone from slightly hurt to injured on our status screen. Great. Love it.
Oh, not doing so great as a doctor when it comes to ourselves.
Well, we keep ending up in fights, and we didn't train for that, so... You hear a gunshot, and when you open your eyes, you see a red stain spreading out across the enemy's uniform. The man drops to the ground, a surprised expression frozen on his face. Behind him, you see a rebel, his gun still smoking. Two of you exchange a brief glance and a nod. Thanks for the assist, buddy. By now, all the Germans have reached the village. They're a resolute, disciplined group, never break in formation. They move as one, except for a random dude in a hut with a knife. Other than that, they move as one. With such precision that they resemble machines more than flesh and blood humans. The rebels and your companions are hiding patiently, waiting for the right moment to attack and catch the invaders off guard. Time seems to stretch, and all sounds become muffled. You're charging. You vaguely remember when you start running or screaming. Kicking the dirt of the ground beneath you, the dust engulfs you, accompanying your charge, swirling around you as if to lash at your enemies. You cannot see them amongst this chaotic prelude to battle, but you know that Omen and Vespucci are at your side. And you're even caught a glimpse of Betzerai joining the attack. Wow. What great friends. Even though all the rebels have joined you in setting upon the Germans, the enemy's defenses proved to be very effective. They stand firm, side by side, like an ancient Greek phalanx, and bullets rain down on whoever tries to get close. See, if they're just standing there shooting, it seems like it would be incredibly easy to just take them out from a distance. I don't understand. Maybe don't charge at them.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same as, when we were doing it in the American Revolution. You have to give them a chance to defend themselves by standing perfectly still.
Yeah, it's very important. It's very important. A barrage of gunfire ensues, wave after wave of lead crashing into your comrades and rebels. Mkwawa incites the rebels to fight and not give up. He's shouting for the first time since you arrived in the village. He resembles a deity, standing tall in the midst of his small army. He yells like a man possessed, waving his arms and shouting orders as if his words were infused with a magic capable of turning them into reality. Horrified, you see Ryan hit by a bullet. You manage to get close to him, but it's too late now. You turn around and see a soldier stab Betzerai in the stomach with a bayonet. You call the half Italian's name, but you don't even know how many times shaking him by the shoulders tried to bring him back from the cold embrace of death. Wait, what? Betzerai isn't the half Italian. Oh, it's a translation issue. Vespucci was the half Italian.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dog came in. Hello. Got a new journal entry. You failed an achievement. Okay. Brothers in arms. One or more comrades lost their lives. Okay. I guess if we had done better, we'd be able to help them. But I gained some experience points. Nothing makes you better at skills than your friends dying.
Oh no.
Panic chokes and rips you away from that eerie, suspended world your mind was stuck in. Time regains its usual speed, and the roar of battle shakes the very ground. There are German soldiers suddenly upon you, but you manage to stop the blade of his bayonet a couple inches from your neck. So we can fight and use our gun to react, or we can run. Once again, fighting is our second worst stat. Agility for running is our worst stat. So...
maybe we should add some, or can we level any of them before we choose?
Nope.
Oh, so yeah, I think we're gonna pick up a gun and just hope for the best then.
All right. Failure. Your eyes were fixed on the enemy's blade a few inches from your neck. The Germans tried to skewer you, and as you aimed your gun to shoot him, you realize you're too late. Dangerously late. You can't pull the trigger, but the sound of a gunshot explodes near you. You don't know where the bullet came from, but the German soldier falls at your feet dead. Panicking, you run to the hut. Falling multiple times on the way. You look for your gun, but can't find it. You realize you left it during the rush of your escape. The weapon is glistening in the darkness, sinking into the mud. You lost an item. Okay. Yeah. Where's my inventory? Let's see. Medical researcher. Yeah. And now we've lost our rifle, and now all we have is a Derringer. If you remember. Paralyzed by fear, you cannot move or use your common sense to do anything but catch your breath and listen to the sounds of the battle, which are growing more and more violent. Suddenly, a grubby hand covers your mouth, filling it with the bitter taste of sweat and dirt. Try to wriggle free, but to no avail. The man behind you is holding with the strength of an iron vice and prevents you from taking even the tiniest of movements. The man begins to speak, almost whispering right in your ear. Despite his heavy German accent, he speaks your language. You recognize his voice. Mr. Huntington. Mr. Huntington, fear not. We're on the same side. I've been told you resumed your research. I'm glad you followed my advice. The man mercifully takes his hand off your mouth. It's our coffee date boy.
The one that left us with the bill?
That's right. Meyer, what are you doing here? What do you want from me? I'm here for you, Mr. Huntington. We need to join forces. Now tell me what you've discovered in these villages. A terrible doubt creeps into your mind. The attack, the disease, is everything connected? Could Meyer himself have been the one to leave you that message on the ship? This man seems to know everything already. Okay, so we can beg him to let us go. We can give our healing concoction to Meyer. We can fire our Colt at him. Or we can use our speechcraft to lie to Meyer and say that we've actually learned nothing. It's just we've just been having fun in the jungle and nothing's really been happening and it's boring.
Lie to him.
Okay. Success. I had the opportunity to observe some corpses. I learned something about the nature of the disease, such as the presence of bleeding sores and a violent fever. However, you make no mention of the concoction Lorraine showed you. So you were able to see how dangerous the disease actually is, Mr. Huntington. We need your help to study it. The sound of battle grows fainter. It would seem the rebels have the upper hand. Meyer seems to be distracted, as if you weren't paying attention. You glimpse a sense of apprehension on his face, making it clear it's time for him to run for cover. The mysterious man brusquely takes his leave and vanishes from sight. The Germans have been chased away. Leaving the hut, you see the rebels celebrating their victory. Smith and Macabre are talking. Macabre. It looks like the tension between them has subsided, smoothed over by the stress and adrenaline of the fighting. The rebel chief even ventures a thin smile, making his foreboding mysterious mask crumble. The man hands a bundle over to the captain, who shortly after joins you and the other survivors. Here, Huntington. You catch the bundle Smith throws at you. It's filled with provisions. We'll need them for the trip. You pack the provisions in your backpack. Soldiers, our mission ends here. We're going back to headquarters. Can I not pick up the gun that I lost? Maybe.
Or any of the German weapons that are on the ground.
Yeah.
Or like figure out why the Germans were attacking.
Yeah, any of those things.
Were we ever told that the Germans were like a problem in this area? We just met the one German, and all he did was didn't pay for his part of breakfast.
When we started this mission to learn about the disease, we were going to a dangerous area because the Germans have a presence here. So we were warned that they might attack us.
Oh.
That's why we're supposedly a small little group, right? All right. Next chapter, the March of the Destitute. Great.
It's because we don't have a gun no more.
Yeah, we're destitute. You've left the village in the battle you fought. You're walking, exhausted and forlorn, along with the troop. However, for now, you're no longer in danger. Okay. We can suggest settling in and take a nap so we can leave early the next morning, or we suggest walking through the entire evening.
So we can stop and actually help ourselves, or we can field march through a nap. Yes.
Yeah, okay, I
feel obligated.
We'll get settled for the night. The captain watches you, turning his gaze to the horizon, and if you're mentally calculating the distance to the coast where you moored your ship. After pondering for a short while, he nods. Some rest will do us good. You don't even get to take another step. Your head is spinning. The foliage around you seems to sway in an attempt to reach you. Thrust out with darting tendrils that slither and hiss. You lose your balance and fall, hitting your head on the ground. You hear Smith's worried voice asking after you. What's going on, Private? Answer me, Huntington! Captain's voice fades out. You feel like you're sinking, and for an instant you're falling headfirst into an endless black abyss. Filled with strange eyes that stare at you through a liquid dark oblivion. You're sinking, and you're not facing the void anymore, rather a sticky, dark sludge, almost like quicksand. You melt into it and lose consciousness. You're home again, in the London you know so well. Was it all a dream? The disease, Zanzibar, the battle, did that really take place? Nah, that's probably it. Game over. We did it. We're back home. Success.
All of this was just bad curry.
Yes, exactly. Got bad Indian takeaway. You're walking around your home carrying a tray. It's loaded with hot tea, a couple sugar cubes, and some butter cookies. You climb the stairs to get to the bedroom and open the door. You immediately turn your eyes to the reclining woman asleep on the bed. You pause for a while, watching her form caressed by the sheets, and her soft blonde curls spread across the pillow. Moving close to the bed, you call to her softly. Hello. Hello, woman in bed. Hello. She doesn't answer, so you put the tray down on the side table and shake her gently. Get up. Still receiving no answer. You put your hand onto her shoulder and gently turn her onto her back. Helen's eyes don't see you, and you're certain they never will again. Staring at the ceiling, or maybe right through it, probably begging for help in the silence death has cursed her lips with. Your Helen has stared into the void, and you cannot even return her stare. Startled, you stand up brusquely. Bumping into the tray, it crashes to the ground, shattering its contents. You lean towards her, holding her corpse in your embrace, desperately trying to give her the warmth of your body. You whisper her name, a subdued litany, but there's no longer a voice to answer you, nor a hand to catch your tears. Poor Jake. You come to with a stab of anguish. Very clearly, your vision has reaffirmed your need to hate medicine in all of its forms. You're lying by a campfire. You try to stand, but you're too weak. You don't need your medical experience to know you're feverish. Your mind immediately turns to the mysterious illness, and a shiver runs down your spine. Have you been infected? You cannot let yourself succumb to this. You don't want to die such a repulsive death. Force yourself to stand as your stomach groans disagreeably, debilitating you in many ways, including giving you an extremely violent wave of nausea. It takes you some time before you pull yourself together.
Weren't we supposed to have taken the antidote?
We did. Everybody in our crew took a sip. Hey, Doc, we almost decided where to bury you. You're lucky you woke up. Didn't you get shot? No, Vespucci Vespucci got shot. Ryan Vespucci, he died. Is that right? Let's see. Does it say in our list of guys?
Did we lose Vespucci or did we lose the native?
I think we lost both of them.
Oh no.
Smith approaches with a hint of apprehension on his face. How are you feeling, Huntington? Okay, we can...
Like I got stabbed.
We can lie. Say, I'm fine, Captain, the exhaustion, so much blood. Or we can say, Captain, I fear I've contracted the disease.
If we say the latter, we're going in the well, so...
Yeah. I mean, we've marched away from the well, but, you know. Yeah, we're gonna lie.
You know what I mean.
We're gonna lie. We're in a horror movie. You know, don't tell them you've been bitten.
We are not the good guys here. Yes. Let's lie to them and make sure that they can't protect themselves against the.
That's right.
The disease.
Good. We need to get going immediately. Smith gives you something to eat, and then he's on his way. You don't really feel strong enough for a long march, but you certainly don't have the luxury of resting or falling behind. You stand and follow him, forcing yourself onward. Head towards the shore with the purpose of reaching the vessel you arrived on as soon as possible. Smith seems very anxious. He's probably worried the Germans are in pursuit. Betzerai died in the fight against the Germans, and so did Ryan. You and the half-Italian shared a lot. How many evenings had you spent talking to him, peeling potatoes and preparing the ingredients for his delicious meals? The half-Italian always knew how to mix ingredients to make the most satisfying results, and the kitchen is walls in life. His advice always helped you move forward. It was your fault, and this thought echoes violently in your mind. Meyer was looking for you specifically. Is that even possible, or are you feverish? He looked for you at Stone Town. Now he pops up in the middle of a war between Germans and the rebels. This can't be mere coincidence. So we can tell Smith that it's me they're after. Or we can just go, and keep going.
So are we absolutely the worst person in this regiment, or are we going to let them know that, you know, at least some information to protect the rest of their lives? You know what? You go ahead and lie again.
I mean, it's a lie of omission. We don't know that that's why the Germans attacked. You can smell the salty air, and you can see the beach on the horizon, the one where you came ashore at the beginning of the mission. You breathe a sigh of relief. You doubt your body could have taken any more of this. After some minutes, you enter the village where it all started. There lie fresh corpses. You see that these have been killed in fighting. You fear Germans are involved, but you keep it for yourself. Continue to the shore, where you find a bitter surprise. The boat you arrived here on is now unseaworthy, since the keel has been damaged, probably in a storm. Smith's shoulders fall, losing for once his flawless military posture. Okay. We can ask Captain Smith what to do. We can ask Ed what to do. Don't know why we would do that. Or we could propose that we go find a boat. The easiest solution. It's so simple. Just find a boat.
We're gonna go and take the boat from that fisherman we hit in the face, episode 1, aren't we? No. Let's talk to Smith. We've been pretty good friends with him so far.
You have no time to answer when a voice interrupts you from behind. You all turn. It's a villager talking, approaching you along the sand. He smiles and speaks English effortlessly. Good, because our translator died. Good day, soldiers. Do you need to cross the sea? I was just about to leave with my boat. Everyone except for Germans are welcome. Turned out the man lives on the coast nearby. He often trades with the British. He exhibits a certain distaste for the Germans. He has a small vessel on which you could sail to Zanzibar. Should we be suspicious? Or should we just say, yes, let's just join this man. He just showed up at random. Let's just go with him.
So, everybody that isn't part of our thing has just been a random person that has turned out pretty helpful. Including the one guy we just got killed. So, maybe he's a good guy. Maybe he's a friend.
Okay, we should trust him.
We are still waiting for a friend.
That's true. We should trust him, Captain. The captain nods, tired. He agrees with you. The man answers with a smile and gestures you to follow. Once again, the sea surrounds you. Oh, the map says we're now in the ocean. How nice. This time, however, the open blue expanse cradles you, and you feel genuinely lighthearted. You were leaving a threat further and further behind you, although rather than leaving, one might say you ran away. We're in a different part of the ocean. Nice. The man who's helping you return to Zanzibar doesn't have a very large boat, but it's still big enough to carry you all to Stone Town. You've lost most of the regiment in the battle against the Germans. What is your name? Abbas. We have met him, and that means we've gained experience. A young local fisher who decided to help you in time of need, offering to escort you to Zanzibar with his boat. He trades with the English, whom he admires, and harbors bitterness towards the German. With just one German. One specific singular German. Okay, we have enough experience now to boost our fighting to 2.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
That not having fighting has been a real detriment.
Yeah, okay, well, let's up our fighting to 2. Okay. We can ask, why are you helping us? Or we can just shut our trap and go back to Zanzibar.
Yeah, gift horses. Let's not rock that boat.
Okay, well, we're gonna stay silent. He'd fixated on the hypnotic motion of the waves, tiny ripples that engulf each other, vanishing into foam from whence they had just materialized. Then you turn to your comrades. Smith sits in a corner of the boat, packing his pipe with his eyes fixed on the horizon, deep in his thoughts. Then you turn to look at O'Bannon, noticing a deep wound on his right leg. His trousers are completely soaked in blood. Ed, you're bleeding. This you mean? Don't worry, it's just a flesh wound. Either the booze has softened the pain, or it's gone to his head once and for all. Should we treat the wound with a first aid kit, or just let him bleed out?
We said we were going to protect the kid, for better or worse.
That's true. We did say that. Success. You ignore his boasting and approach him. You clean his wound and stitch it up with your equipment. Luckily, he's utterly drunk and feels almost nothing. Thanks, mate. 2 EXP for stitching up our friend. The return trip is slow. Fisherman's boat, unsurprisingly, can't reach the speeds your previous vessel was capable of, especially with an unfavorable wind. Abbas seems to be doing his utmost without ever losing his smile, but he obviously has no control over the weather conditions. Your stomach grumbles, and the others seem hungry too. You get out the provisions Smith gave you after the village fight and begin rationing them, giving everyone his share without hurrying. Of those who reach out to you, every missing hand reminds you of your companions lost on the mission, adding to the weight on your heavy heart, which is feeling you're surely sharing with what's left of your regiment. If you can still call it a regiment. Oh, no. Sea is calm and the sun is setting on the horizon. Your mission in East Africa has completely worn you out. You find a comfortable position, close your eyes, and fall asleep easily, cradled by the waves that softly rock the boat. For experience points, you met a new character. We met our wife? What? Okay, sure. Smart, sweet, and beautiful Helen was your wife until she died. Despite the efforts that consumed you, you weren't able to save her from the disease-like disorder similar to tuberculosis that struck her. Been dealing with your guilt since her passing. Sure. Well, it's nice that we met our wife.
They should have given that when we were dealing with the native girl.
Oh yeah, that's
you met
right.
Your wife.
You were in your flat in London. You're walking, a tray in your hands. On top of it, there's a cup of steaming tea, a few sugar cubes, and a tiny plate and some butter cookies. Climb the stairs. When you arrive at the bedroom, you open the door. Helen is in bed. She's still sleeping. We can try to wake her up, or we can just lie down next to her. Scoot over, honey. I'm tired.
You know what? Let's try to wake her up and see what she thinks about us moving on. Finding other experiences in life.
Okay, sure. Last time we tried to wake her up, she was dead, but this time I'm sure it'll work out better.
Totally different.
You call her softly, but no answer is forthcoming, so you shake her gently. She turns to face you and opens her eyes, smiling at your presence. Then you notice something. A dark stain starts to seep out from between her teeth, small at first, then growing larger and larger. The sticky liquid swells out through her gums, dripping from her lips. The same happens to her eyes. Black tears start to streak her face. It's blood running more and more copiously. You uncover her frantically, realizing that her body is covered with wounds. Her once perfect skin is marred with bleeding sores. You look at her back, her neck. Arnape, you see unmistakably those strange punctures you saw on the diseased corpses in Africa. No, it wasn't like that. You're sure she didn't die that way. You move farther away from the bed as Helen falls helplessly on the mattress and starts screaming in a strange, unknown language. She raises her head. She looks at you with demon-like, inhuman eyes, as if she were about to transform into a beast. You refuse to look at her. You close your eyes and let out a loud cry in the darkness. You go, "Ah, my wife, my loving wife, ah!" You open your eyes, startled into sitting up. Stars are twinkling in the sky, and below you can only hear low rumbling of the sea rhythmically moving the boat. Look around and see that Abbas is the only one awake, although he doesn't seem to mind you. His gaze is fixed upon a precise point in the dark waters, as if his attention had slipped towards what lies beneath the water's surface, perhaps far below, to the abyss itself. Something deep in the sea, where, I don't know, maybe something sleeps. I don't know. Maybe we could call that place like Ryla or something. I don't know.
All told, the fisherman seems to have actually been just a fisherman.
Yeah,
so
see?
2 out of 2.
Trust everyone in the horror game. That's the trick, I guess.
Yeah.
The boat jolts abruptly, then begins to roll faster as bigger and higher waves loom over the bow. The fisherman starts to scream in his native language as he struggles to maintain the helm. It seems someone is trying to rip it from his hands. Something is trying to rip it from his hands. The boat rolls violently. The deck's bridge almost cries and groans in pain. It's like, that's my boat noise. It sounds like a Wookiee, but trust me, it's a boat. As if it were to break at any moment, and then everything ceases. The boat stills suddenly, and the sea once again becomes calm and tranquil. Quietly lasts for a brief moment. Something is coming out of the water slowly. You can make out a silhouette hanging over the gunwale, swaying faintly. More dark shadows join the first creeping shape in the night, slithering onto the deck, taking hold of the vessel and starting to wrap tightly around it. They are enormous tentacles, soon embracing the boat entirely. Once you hear the sound of wood groaning under the pressure of those horrific appendages. A tentacle reaches inside the boat like a snake searching for something, and that something is you, Jake Huntington. You jerk awake, screaming at the top of your lungs. Wah! Da, da, da! I had a dream within a dream. Ah! Your travel companions stare at you, unnerved. What's up, Jake? Did you have a bad dream? His tone of voice is mocking. What's up, Jake? If that's your real name, did baby have a bad dream? Did you go to war and get traumatized? Oh, little baby.
Yeah. Just ribbing you for your PTSD. Multiple PTSD. You already had PTSD.
Yeah. They're just, that's a good point. If you already have PTSD, just layer a couple more layers of war PTSD on top. I'm sure that'll fix it, Mix enough of it together, it's like nothing ever happened.
Yeah. They cancel each other out.
Leave it, Ed. I think I'd rather have some whiskey to relax now. You stand up and look over the horizon. You hope that some movement, however small, may take away the unsettling sensations the nightmare has bequeathed you. Over in the distance, you see the land slowly getting closer. Oh, we're back to Zanzibar, it says. Alright, we got some more notes about what happened. The Germans attacked the rebel camp, and you and your comrades were involved in the clash. Ryan and Betzerai fell victims to the Germans' ferocity. A nightmare to forget. During your trip on Avis's fishing boat, you collapsed and were struck by a terrible nightmare. First you saw Helen, your wife, dying covered in blood, and then you experienced the attack of a monstrous tentacle against your boat. Might those be the first symptoms showing that you two have contracted the illness?
The character should be in, medical care right now.
Land at last. Your camp awaits you, the prelude to arriving back home. The tension you've been accumulating begins to subside. Then as you come near the shore, you feel a creeping sensation. You cannot see the distinctive profile of Stonetown. So we can either pick a menacing or quiet. And menacing says, "Where are you taking us?" Or we could just stay quiet.
So far the fisherman has done no wrong. So, let's take to their judgment, since they seem to be doing, trusting the people we don't know has succeeded so far.
All right, stay quiet. We've arrived. This village is called Bumwini. I have some business to attend to. It's not a long way from here to Stonetown. Follow the coast southwards. You can't go wrong. You leave the fisherman's boat, and the man waves you goodbye with a smile as he makes his way for Bumwini. His help was invaluable. Without him, you would have wandered the African coast aimlessly before dying of starvation and exposure to the elements. The man demanded nothing of you, and you have no reason to berate him, despite the minor change, of course. I can berate anyone. That's Jake Huntington's skill as a colonizer. He can berate anyone for any reason. That's like your it's like your racial bonus for being a white man in Africa.
We put the money into Speechcraft. We're gonna use the money into Speechcraft.
You proceed towards the base, walking almost mechanically. Your legs simply want to reach their destination while your mind is left to wander. The sun is setting slowly beyond the horizon, but you've not yet arrived. choose to set up camp for the night, and luckily you find shelter in a seemingly suitable cave. The light from the campfire shines on the rock formation surrounding you, bathing it in shades of orange and red. Before you sleep, you eat the remaining food. Tomorrow you should manage to get to Stone Town easily, and will be able to delight your palates with a decent meal. Are you sure? Our chef died. The guy who knew how to cook died. Are we sure?
Yeah, but I'm sure they have, like, restaurants there. They have a coffee shop that we know they have.
Oh, that's true.
Because we've been stood up once.
Yeah, that's right.
1920.
You lost an item. Oh, we lost all the food because we ate it all. Okay. Your head is pounding and you're exhausting after the long walk. You have the unnerving feeling that the second you close your eyes, there will be more nightmares awaiting you. Nice. Free nightmares. Part of you doesn't want to sleep at all. You lie still for a couple minutes before falling asleep. You wake up at the crack of dawn. As expected, it's been a grueling night, but fortunately you have no clear memory of what you dreamt. Captain Smith is already on his feet, ready to leave. As you're marching towards Stone Town, if Abbas was right, your destination shouldn't be too far. You hope it proves true, because every minute you spend in these lands will always be a minute too many. This new chapter is called What Survives the Plague? At last, the outline of Stone Town appears in front of your eyes. You are relieved after the enormous weight of this difficult mission. Smith shares your relief, and you both pick up your pace to put this horrible experience behind you as soon as possible. A few seconds later, you see a young British soldier running towards you frantically. They must have seen you from the watchtower. The soldier speaks with Captain Smith, but you can't make out a single word. A horrified expression, the likes of which you had never seen before, dawns on your captain's face. Two men sprint off towards Stone Town. You feel weak. Trip was trying both mentally and physically. Your vision's clouded. And you suddenly get faint right at the gates of Stone Town. You awaken some hours later in a cot bed near the infirmary. Surrounded by chaos, soldiers, doctors, nurses, ceaselessly going to and fro. Something terrible must have happened during your absence. Two men on stretchers are being carried inside. You stand and follow them. You're confronted with men screaming, convulsing, and others covered in sweat from the burning fevers. Sores devastating the patient's skin, blood soaking their sheaths stained with bodily fluids. The wailing of the dying and the cries of those who have lost their mind with feverish delirium echo throughout the large bare room. In the middle of all the confusion, you notice a doctor, who you approach for some kind of explanation. We were hit by a violent epidemic. Fevers, sores, hallucinations. The doctor doesn't wait around and immediately leaves to go take care of new patients. You know very well the symptoms the doctor just described. You look around and notice bodies lying on the floor. There's nothing to be done for them now. Well, we can at least feel good that we didn't bring the plague. It already showed up. So, you know, our personal plague is just a drop in the bucket, really. You know?
Yeah, we're this. Oh man, so we're basically not helping anybody at all so far, right? We're the world's worst doctor.
Pretty well. I mean, to be fair, we knew that. That's why we joined the army. So, like, no surprises, I guess. There's absolutely no time to waste. You're a doctor, so you must do your part. Okay, so we can examine one of the patients, or we can leave. It's like, I must do my part, and then just walk out.
Book it. Well, we're already infected. It can't do much more to us than it already has. Let's look at the patients.
Yeah, that sounds good. You approach one of the patients and start to inspect him. He has an abnormally high temperature. He's babbling meaninglessly. And the beginning of lesions are visible on the skin, symptoms you come to be familiar with. The same disease that has stricken Africa. Okay. We can examine the patient's nape to see if he has the same bites on the back of his neck. We can try to talk to him. We can use our medical skill to triage the person the best we can. It does note that we are leaving aside our role as soldier if we do this. Don't know what that means, but sure. Or again, we could just walk away. We could just be like, nope, I'm out.
Well, we did start this wanting to be a soldier to escape doing all this stuff.
But then we put all of our points into medicine, so clearly we didn't want to do that bad.
then we ignored our original plan. Yeah, we're a doctor. We're the doctor. I guess we're gonna do this.
All right.
Hands in the air.
Success. You roll up your sleeves and resume your careful examination of the patient, trying to understand how the contagion occurs, develops, and spreads. You can only conjecture that there had been some sort of contact between Zanzibar and the rest of East Africa. 2 experience points for that. Probably 1 or more infected people have left their villages running from the epidemic, unknowingly carrying it to the island. However, something still eludes you. Certain dynamics of this illness remain incomprehensible to you, alien to everything you've learned through years of medical school and practice. You leave the sick beds, doing your utmost to ignore the sounds of those screams and moans. You wish you could do something for them, but you need to talk to Smith and clarify why he was so upset at the information that Soldier carried. Could there be news about the disease itself? As you ponder this new question, you freeze on the spot at the sight of one of the infirmary cots. Smith is at the bedside of his son, Scott. The cold military facade the man has worn all throughout your mission lays shattered in front of the boy's frail body, Smith's pain laid bare for all to see. Scott is convulsing and screaming incomprehensibly. As soon as Smith sees you, he leaves the child's bedside and approaches you impetuously. Huntington, I'm begging you. Help my son. You must save him. You hesitate out of surprise, and Smith is almost on his knees in front of you, imploring you to help. Help my son, help me. Okay. We can use our medicine to try to stabilize his condition, or we can use our mysterious concoction to try to save the boy's life.
This is a pulp adventure, so the concoction has a 100% success rate.
Yeah, I know, but then we're going to use it. We only have like 1 dose.
That's true.
At least I think so. I'm going to check our information. Let's see. Yeah, concoction made by Lorraine herb. The herb gathered in the jungle seems effective in the treatment of the serious disease. Okay, well, it doesn't say we just have 1 dose, but I don't know.
So, do we give it to ourselves or do we give it to the child?
I mean, we've been ignoring that we're sick this whole time. If we were going to give it to ourselves, you think we would have taken a little swig of it a lot earlier.
A hero?
I need a hero.
Oh, give it to the kid.
Alright, here you go. Kept the concoction Lauren gave you, but the mixture you have at your disposal is only enough for 1 dose. You thought you'd keep the strange potion for yourself in case the symptoms of the illness return, but you can't leave Smith's child to die.
The case even has the same logic that we have.
Huntington, are you sure that stuff works? The captain raises an arm as if to stop you, but retreats immediately, fraught with countless unspeakable doubts. We have no choice, Captain. We must try even the impossible. We've tried nothing, so the impossible is probably the way to go. For a moment, Smith stands between you and Scott, almost determined to stop you from feeding the unknown concoction to his son. And the child starts screaming louder, his voice twisted in harsh animalistic sounds. Captain steps aside, lowering his head in pained resignation. Please, get my child incredibly high. You hold the child's head firmly and force him to drink, making sure he swallows it properly. When you've made sure he's had enough, you turn to look at Smith and nod. Man returns to his son's bedside, and you can't do anything but leave the room and wait. Okay, let's see. Okay. Our notes now say that Scott's doing better. That's nice. And we got an achievement for saving Scott's life with the concoction.
Nice.
Good for us.
I'm sure that won't bite us in the ass later on.
Yeah. Some long hours later, Scott seems to be taking the medicine well. His fever is slowly subsiding, and the child's delirium and screams have ceased. His skin begins to regain a more natural color. He smiles as you look at him, sleeping under his father's watch, Smith caressing his head. At least for now, you can consider him out of the woods. Leave the infirmary. You haven't had a minute of rest before finding yourself yet again in the middle of a storm. You're exhausted. Come across some soldiers carrying a backpack and more exploration equipment. Soldier. They finally found an expedition that had been missing for weeks. You move closer to learn more, trying to divert your thoughts away from the disease. Soldiers tell you about a troop which had left about 2 weeks ago in search of water springs inland. During a mission, these soldiers disappeared, never sending any messages to their whereabouts. A recovery team was given the task of finding them. All I could find were the corpses of the men, in horrifying conditions, all of them. Soldiers stop talking and shiver faintly, and they proceed to empty the salvaged backpacks and inspect their contents. Attention's drawn by the thud of a diary falling on the table. You see it there, surrounded by other trinkets. You approach it, intending to examine it. Cover is inscribed with the name of Private Eric McLean. You untie the strings that hold the notebook closed, then you open it and start to read. We were at the mercy of delirious savages. They were running towards us, their eyes bloodshot. We tried to locate an escape route, discovering only too late we had found ourselves in a horrendous trap. You rapidly flip through the rest of the diary, jumping back and forth through the pages to find more details. Last night I was plagued by terrible nightmares, creatures only a feverish mind could produce. I believe the visions and dreams are closely linked to the disease itself, in whatever measure, however, I dare not say, unless I venture hypotheses that fall outside the canons of what we usually call science. Eric McLean's diary. Travel journal of a cartographer named Eric McLean is found. Some pages are torn, but the content is clear. The cartographer fell victim to the same illness that is hitting Stone Town.
And you, and everybody else.
What are you reading, Private? One of the men has approached you with a curious look on his face, his eyes turning to the recovered diary. We can be brusque. We can tell him to leave you alone and keep on reading. It's like, fuck off, I'm reading a dead man's diary, go away. Or we could politely talk to this man.
Why would we be... Oh, man, okay. Yeah, there's no reason to, like, rock that boat for no...
I mean, we weren't even part of this crew that was checking to see what had been recovered. We just literally, like, pushed into the circle and grabbed this diary.
Yeah, stole somebody else's, stuff just to run a... Oh.
Yeah, we'll be polite.
This is...
You raise your eyes from the diary and address him politely.
I think that we should probably not be problematic here.
However, you observe a certain greed in the soldier's eyes, fixed on what you're holding rather than yourself. A diary recently recovered by the team and belonged to one Eric McLean. You see, I don't think you should keep this. It could contain some important information. And extends his palm. He expects you to hand him the notebook. The man is a bit too demanding. We can use our speechcraft to convince him that we need to keep this diary for this man that we've never met. Or we could just ignore him and just be like, I don't even notice you holding out the hand. What? No, I'm not even looking. I guess we'll talk him down.
Yeah. Let's be little.
Success. Well, if it's so important, then it's in the right hands with me. Wow, he took that? That's terrible. That's terrible convincing. You didn't even explain why you needed it.
Yeah, just
The soldier grits his teeth and leaves. After this brief interruption, you're musing that what you just read shares a number of traits with your current situation. Maybe you should continue reading later on when you're better able to concentrate. Slip the diary into your backpack, just as another soldier approaches you and informs you that you've been summoned by your commanding officers. Your heart skips a beat, but you try to keep calm and follow the messenger. The Curious History of a Diary is our next chapter. Nervously walk towards command. You can't help wondering if perhaps you've been summoned so as to be discharged. What?
Finally! Great news!
I mean, yes, that would be great news, but I have no idea why he would think this. Like, he hasn't done anything wrong except for given untested medicine to a child, I guess. But other than that... Okay, never mind. He's done many things wrong, but they wouldn't be considered wrong by the British colonial army.
Not true. We did abandon post as we bailed, as we left that village, getting the entire regiment killed.
I guess that is true. The officers await you in a room with rather Spartan furnishings. There's a desk almost exactly in the center and various African trophies hanging on the walls. Wow, what a cool place. Please, Huntington, have a seat. Mr. Huntington, you stood out during the action as a medic, and as such we've decided to award you with a commendation and medal for bravery and skill in battle. You're surprised. You had never expected this. You warmly thank the officers, but you still venture the request for indefinite leave, making your intentions of resuming your civilian life known. What? Okay. The men stay silent for an instant, then begin exchanging opinions. If this is your request, we will feel bound to honor it. We'll organize it so you can leave for London today with a place in the officer's cabin. Hope that someday you'll choose to offer your service once again to the British Army. Okay.
That went quick.
We got an achievement for getting a Medal of Valor. It says, the officers gave you a commendation and a medal for distinguishing yourself in the field, but despite this, you make a request for leave. Officers grant your request, offering to sail you to London in an officer's cabin. Great.
Should we make a request?
Apparently. You take your leave and return to the barracks to pack for your impending departure. You glance at the comrades' cots, both the men's you left behind and those you have to leave now. You close your fist around your backpack strap and take a deep breath. It's time to go back to London and infect everyone there. You say goodbye to Ed with a hug. The Irishman won't stop singing or slapping you on the back. He's not drunk, but he behaves if he were. His eyes are wet with the emotion of the moment. Who's gonna stitch up my guts now that you're leaving, huh, Doc? I'm not crying. Don't be silly, Omen. You're not a child anymore. You're perfectly capable of looking after yourself and suturing your own wounds. At least when you're not overflowing with booze.
That kid's he's dead. He's immediate next time he goes out. Dead.
The young soldier laughs, then offers you one of his faithful whiskey bottles with a wide grin on his face. This is the last one. The last one? Seriously? You're surprised. The Irishman nods again, sits next to you on top of a crate filled with provisions. A toast to the Italian. I'll sing about him and his food when I'm back home. Take a big gulp, hoping Ed too will be able to return home soon. Though the army generally reduces the appearance of age differences, you know he's still just a boy. Make your way towards the arbor, trying to set aside your worries for him. Did I say harbor or arbor? We're heading towards the guy who cuts down the trees. The arbor. No, the harbor. Trying to set aside your worries for him, your mind flies to London, your hometown you will soon see again. Climbing on board, when you see Smith on deck, you meet his eyes and the captain smiles back at you. He's holding Scott's hand. The boy looks visibly better. He's probably still feverish, with his watery eyes and flushed cheeks, but the bleeding has stopped fully, and the sores on his neck has almost disappeared. You guess Smith has been called back to London, unlike the rest of the detail. A young soldier is tasked with carrying your luggage into the officer's cabin you were given. You chose to spend the time before departure on the ship's deck to look at Stonetown one last time. You have so many great memories there, like the time you
Kicking a fisherman.
Yeah, the time you chased some people over a boat. The time you went to a date with a boyfriend and he stiffed you on the bill and also turned out to be a German spy. That's our memories of this place, I guess.
Yep.
The time we woke up after being seriously ill from a mysterious disease. The time we got a Medal of Honor for some reason.
Yeah.
You watch the sailors loading the last of the provisions. The vessel's ready to leave. Alas, the ship is on board and sets sail. The siren announcing its departure pierces your eardrums. And the light motion of the seas greets you once again. There's a long journey ahead of you. You use that time to collect your thoughts and try to rest after the whirlwind you've just experienced. We are back on the ocean, it says. You head for your cabin on the officer's deck. It's a spacious room. The bed looks extremely soft, desk refined with wood finishings, and supplied with the essentials for writing letters or keeping a journal. As you put away your belongings, your gaze falls on Eric McLean's diary in the pocket of your backpack. The journey could be a good time to read this journal. I hope I get the option just like, nah, I'm just gonna sleep for like 3 weeks or whatever. Oh, it does give me that option. Oh my gosh. You look at it for a few moments, but then your stomach starts rumbling. You feel hungry and need to eat something. Although, you could take a look at McLean's diary first. Should we read it now or read it later?
Read it. Oh, but we are hungry. That is important. No. We must carry on and read without snacks.
All right, that's a good point. You start reading from the beginning. Dear Sir, in accordance with the National Service Acts, you are hereby called up by the British Navy to participate in a mission to the recently acquired territory of Zanzibar in British East Africa. Your experience and abilities are to be placed at the disposal of Lieutenant James Rogers and a small regiment there. The letter continues detailing a scouting mission. McLean shows a hint of disappointment in his diary. Apparently wasn't particularly keen on being called back into service. As you read the last sentence on the page, your stomach starts rumbling in earnest. You must eat something or risk fainting. Something you've become fairly well acquainted with recently. You'll resume your reading later. Got 4 experience points for reading. Place the diary in a drawer. Then leave your cabin for the mess hall. You sit next to some officers. Smith is in front of you. As you arrive, the captain stands and approaches you, loudly singing your praises to the other men, slapping you on the back and extolling the cool-headedness you showed at the most critical moment. You smile, although you feel slightly embarrassed when the table erupts in applause. What in the world did we do that's deserving of all this?
I know, right? Like
we were the medic. Like we helped heal some people. Like I'm not gonna say we didn't do that, but like that was literally our job. I don't think we went above and beyond the Call of Duty in that regard.
Actually, no, complete dereliction of duty. We were not supposed to be the medic. We specifically was not given that position in the army. So we chose not to fight proper in order to do medic work.
I guess so.
We should be, court-martialed.
Yeah. Oh, yes, that's exactly what the book says. It bad, yes. Things are bad. In spite of the joyous moment, you can't shake the strange feeling that you're being watched. You turn around, but there are too many people and too much noise in the room. You blame your paranoia and force yourself to go back to the celebration. After all, your experience in the field has definitely worn you out, and you probably just need to relax. Just really chill, When the meal's over, you stand and leave the mess hall, but soon afterwards you get a piercing migraine. Should we go back to the cabin to rest, or should we get some fresh air on the deck?
We can meet new friends on the deck and infect them. So let's do that.
That sounds good. The smell of salt air hits you as you step out onto the deck. Zanzibar's shores are now far away, and a vast expanse of open sea stands between you and your ship in Suez Port, the first stopover in your long journey back to London. Inhale a second time and close your eyes, enjoying the sounds of the sea. It's rolling and splashing. You lose yourself in these sensations as the sharp throbbing of your headache fades away, disappearing almost completely. However, your exhaustion doesn't follow suit. You still feel dead on your feet and in dire need of rest. You lie in your bed, and in a few seconds you're deep asleep. You open your eyes, it's night. The ship's in turmoil. It's a rough, stormy sea. Rumbling thunder suddenly booms through your cabin. You hear a faint rustling on the other side of the door, as if someone were trying to enter your cabin. We could just go open the door and let them in.
Gonna make a new friend.
Or we could be on our guard. Do we just want to let them in? Just be like, hey, hold on, let me get the door for you, buddy.
Hey, meeting new people has yet to fail us once.
It's true. It's never failed. Ever. You move towards the door and jerk it open, but you don't find anyone awaiting you beyond the threshold. Looking out into the corridor, you meet the eyes of a patrolling soldier. They are wide with adrenaline. Soldier. Someone was trying to break into your cabin. He went that way. Turn around and see another man making a mad dash towards the deck. Narrowing your eyes in the lantern light, you can see he's wearing the same uniform as you. Should we chase him or just let him go?
Is chase an agility check?
No, just says you chase the man.
Oh yeah. We can chase him while completely ill and out of our mind and tired.
I mean, we're on
Perfect.
a boat. There's only so many places a guy can go.
That's true.
Sure, you went after the thief? Why do we think he's a thief? Sprinting towards the ship's deck. The storm is raging. Tall waves, wind, and rain prevent you from seeing or moving properly. You stumble against the gunwale more than once, but still manage to pursue the man closely, as he's having the same problems as you. Suddenly, the thief missteps and slips on the deck, falling to the ground. He stands and turns to face you. You're opposite each other in the darkness. A flash of lightning illuminates a metallic object in his hand. A knife! Okay, we can use fighting to fight the thief with our bare hands, or we can use observation to find a weapon around us. Our fighting and observation are currently the same level, but we can level either of them up. We have enough experience points.
We've done without needing to fight before. We can do it again. Let's level observation.
All right, we're gonna look around and we're gonna find ourselves a weapon on the deck. Success! Use the bright flash of lightning to look for something to help you through this uneven match. Your eyes dart left and right as your foe advances threateningly. Then you see it. There's a hole between the deck planks right in front of the thief. Gain 2 experience points. You step back, keeping your eyes fixed on him, trying to lead him into the trap. Your plan succeeds. Soon the man missteps and stumbles on the obstacle you had noticed, falling clumsily to the ground. When the lightning bolt turns the sky white, you see his face and flinch as you recognize him. It's the soldier who was so persistent in demanding Eric's diary back in Zanzibar HQ. We've now officially met this man. Let's see what it says. Thief. Okay. The thief who tried to steal Eric's journal during your journey to London, he turned out to be a mysterious soldier you confronted at headquarters before leaving Zanzibar. Violent wave strikes the deck, knocking you down. The current drags you away, and your head hits the gunwale, making you lose consciousness. You wake up, sore and rain-soaked. The world around you is still asleep in the dark of the night, but the storm's faded now. Wobbling, with your head pounding and your entire body hurting, you return to your cabin defeated. You cannot fall asleep, tossing and turning under the sheets, unable to find peace. Given your insomnia, you would think this would be a good moment to take a look at Eric McLean's diary. You stand and walk to your writing desk where you place the small book. You blink a couple of times as your gaze wanders over the wooden desk. The diary's vanished.
We didn't check the other guy's pockets for Keep calling him thief, but what did he steal? Who knows? Jeez.
New journal entry and 8 experience points. Let's see what our journal says we did. During your journey back to London, someone broke into your cabin and stole Eric McLean's journal. Cool. Cool beans. Night goes on without any further surprises, but you didn't sleep. You were too busy thinking about what had happened. You reported both the theft of the book and the break into your superiors, making it clear that those responsible could be a spy working for a foreign government. Serious Man, however, has vanished as if he never existed. But you know there's no way he could have left the ship. One more week to dock in Suez. You hope you will have recovered the stolen diary by then. You know the face of your attacker and have no intention of letting him escape. Today you search the entire ship, looking in every corner of the vessel, trying to figure out if he's in someone's cabin, hidden in the pantry, or among the crates of the warehouse. However, your research leads to nothing. You're admiring the Etrian shore from the deck of the ship, and you've just passed the Aden Gulf and are now heading towards the Red Sea. Clear sky lets you enjoy the wonderful landscape all around your vessel, the sandy earth that blurs in the heat of the sun, the vegetation warped by the reflecting mirages. You look at these natural wonders for some hours before returning to your cabin. Time goes by pleasantly while the ship gets closer to Suez. You're enjoying some well-deserved rest in your bunk when someone knocks at the door. You can't help but wonder who it could be, and when you open the door, you're surprised. Captain Smith is in front of you with his usual military frown, and who appears to be relieved to be heading to London. Some locks of hair and watchful eyes appear between the legs of your spear. It's Scott, who looks much better, and you smile at him. Child hides behind his father when he notices you are watching.
Also, put points in observant.
Huntington, I thought I'd take advantage of these days to talk. We have a lot to discuss. It has been hard, but we are finally heading home. Of course, Captain. Scott sprints along the corridor, disappearing behind the corner to avoid the embarrassment of waving, which makes you smile. When Smith walks away, you close the door. Finally, the ship docks in the harbor of Suez to gather supplies for the last part of the journey to London. All the quays are filled with people doing all kinds of things. Workers carrying huge crates, people set to sail with their fishing boats, drunks already stumbling around in broad daylight, which reminds you of your small son you left back at war. Ah, our beloved child, Ed O'Bannon. Every time I see a drunken man, I think of our boy.
The only thing he did was get hurt, drink, or slow us down.
What a wonderful boy. The streets of the town seem to hug the shore as if they are trying to engulf it in a tangled maze made of alleys and secondary streets. Now is your chance to try to catch the thief. Ship's passengers are disembarking into the harbor. If the man's among them, you'll certainly recognize him. Let's see. Okay. We can use our observation to try and spot the thief, or we can disembark to look for a better. I don't understand how getting off the ship would help. We're gonna observe. Success. You carefully observe all of the passengers disembarking one by one. You'd forgotten there were so many, but you keep your eyes peeled and your mind focused. There are soldiers with noses who could be exhibited in an oddity museum. Others have scars which surely tell some interesting stories. You freeze when suddenly you recognize the features of the young man you fought against on the ship. You finally found him.
Yeah. Now we don't have enough points to fight him.
That's right. New chapter. At the sunset of Suez.
We have time for another chapter?
I don't know. Do we want to stop here? We can go to art time. Let's see.
Yeah.
We'll go to art time. The time of art. Hold on just a second. All right. Well, an exciting adventure. Let's go to art time. The time of art. And look at this art. Scooby doing. Yeah, that's exactly how he took care of him. That's what Jake Huntington's all about. Dude, that Scooby Doo shit.
So we are a successful horror story in this time with our not getting involved.
Yeah. And we are Jake Huntington, the man looking for friends.
Jake Huntington, friend chaser.
Indeed. We saw some horrible wells, that's true. We had a horrible nightmare about giving our wife some tea, I can see there. And poor Eric McLean and his terrible diary. It bad diary.
In fact, bad. Had a terrible, like, 1-star vacation to Zanzibar.
Yeah, not good. Not good. But I appreciate, like, we failed like 400 fights. I appreciate that you have captured the one fight that we succeeded at, where we just let a guy fall in a hole.
Do nothing has been our ace in the hole this whole time.
It really has.
Nope. Chase every friend. Do no fighting. Perfect success rate.
100% successful. Yeah.
So in conclusion,
I still don't understand why a doctor's like, man, I'm probably infected. I better get back to London, one of the biggest cultural centers with the most people in it in the modern world.
Let us. We know that there's more people there. Therefore, more friends. Everything else takes a back seat.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. Hopefully we get a scene where we get to dramatically look at our wife's grave and be like, why did you have to die? And cry in a very manly way.
I gave up, healing myself to heal a small child. I guess that's a win, but it does mean I'm going to be a very short-lived doctor.
Yeah, pretty well.
That's well. All in the life of Jake Huntington.
Jake Huntington, our amazing hero.
See you next week.
I'll see you next time. And until then, we say our catchphrase that we definitely figured out since last time.
Always chase friends.
Always look for friendship in the darkest of places. That's the Uncanny Contemplation way. Even in the darkness, friendship. That is our way. Thank you for contemplating with us today. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.